everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. It is Monday. It's the first show of November. The snow has arrived, and we are still with 4 football teams left in the area. That's how we start today's show. Thank you to the Insurance Circle agency, myinsuranccircle.com. I'm David Rice. With me today is not Adam Bragenzer. Austin Curtis filling in for Adam today. You've been on this side of it before. You've been a guest on the show before, but glad to have you filling in for Adam today.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here. I'm the slightly less cooler version of Adam.
Well, me and you have been to the Springport playoff games the last couple of weeks. We'll get to Springport in a minute, but high school football district finals is how we start today's show. Let's start in Division 5. Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard hosting Michigan Center. The game was at Ann Arbor Huron. Gabriel Richard has no lights at their field, so that's why the game was at Huron. 35-18 Michigan Center over Gabriel Richard. The Cardinals knock off a Gabriel Richard offense that came into the game averaging over 50 points per game and were ranked to number 2 in Division 5. Michigan Center was down at halftime. They scored 28 unanswered points in the second half to win its first district title since 2021. Quarterback Hayden Henkel, 12 of 19 for 169 passing and 2 touchdowns. Brennan Forward with a touchdown as well, 4 catches, and Trey Collins with a receiving touchdown as well. Braylon Villarreal leading the Cardinals defense with 10 tackles. Coming into this game, we figured, with all credit to Michigan Center and how well they've done all year, Gabriel Richard, as we mentioned, really good offense. I just mentioned over 50 points per game. Michigan Center able to come back 28 unanswered in the second half. So a great win for the Cardinals. So they are going to have to be road warriors again this week. They will go to Monroe Jefferson this Friday at 7 p.m. for a regional championship. And the last time Michigan Center won a regional title also was 2021 when they made the state semifinals. Now, Michigan Center and Monroe Jefferson have one common opponent, if you can believe that. You'd have to go back to week 2 of this year, or week 1, when Hanover Horton hosted Monroe Jefferson to begin the year, and Monroe Jefferson beat Hanover Horton running clock, but Hanover Horton beat Michigan Center. So all with a common opponent, and Michigan Center, I will say, not as tough of competition on their schedule this year compared to Monroe Jefferson. So this is going to be an interesting game Friday. We'll see if Michigan Center can come out on top and make it to a state semifinal. So photos from that game and video highlights online from Michigan Center at jtv.tv and on our Facebook. And by the way, if you look at our Facebook, we had really good numbers from over the weekend, especially our Springport game. A lot of good numbers and views on that on social media. A lot of people like Coach Pack. I was looking at the numbers from Friday. I think almost 20,000 views just on the Ben Pack post-game interview.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you if you saw the numbers specifically in the Coach Pack interview. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and the highlights too. Springport, we have a lot of viewership from there, so we do appreciate their support.
Shout out to Port.
Absolutely. Division 6, Lumen Christi 44-0 over Napoleon. Titans win their 12th straight district championship, and Lumen Christi scored on every single offensive possession in the game. Lumen hosts Ida on Friday for a chance to win their 5th straight regional title. So Lumen 44-0 over Napoleon. Now, I'm going to just say this. I said this to you and Noah and Adam in the Rice Report over the weekend. I'm not going to name any specific people because I'm not going to do that. But there's a lot of people complaining about this game over the weekend.
Okay.
After the final score. I think I sent you guys a screenshot of some comments on a particular post from another source. A lot of people complaining that they had to play Lumen Christi. Now, our response pretty much was, well, we knew coming in Lumen was a much better team. and Napoleon just had to play better, and they didn't. Now, going into the season, you know you're in Division 6 because you know that ahead of time. And you also know Lumen Christi's in Division 6. And if you're Napoleon, you know that you're a good enough team to make the playoffs, and they did. So you knew at some point you were going to have to play them. You know what I mean? It's not like you just found out you had to play them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, I see it from both sides. I understand, but it's going to come to a certain point where, like, maybe saying things like that on social media, that's not going to make your program any better, right?
No, well, it's not making the situation better just by complaining.
Correct, yeah.
You're not helping. You're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound insensitive, right? Because I see it from both sides. I understand the point. I do.
So Lumen over Napoleon, photos from that game too and video highlights on our website. This was a game. Hanover Horton 20, Bronson 12. With under a minute left in the game, Hanover was down 12-6. Hanover's quarterback Devin Bevier. We were at Springport, so we didn't watch this game, so I don't know if he got hurt or we don't know the story there. But Austin Hochter had to come in and play quarterback in this game. Austin Hochter threw a long touchdown pass, almost 70 yards to Colin Griffiths. He fumbled the ball on the play, had enough time to pick it back up. Came back around, was falling away out of bounds, just threw it up. Colin Griffiths caught it, 70 yards to tie the game at 12, got the 2 to take the lead 14-12, and then Austin Hochter caught a pick 6 on defense on the next play and returned it for a touchdown. Now, I think we had a short break in our Springport game, and our game wasn't as close, so I got on NFHS. We watched the end of this game, and we saw that touchdown. But the way the camera moved, or I should say didn't move, we didn't know what happened. Because the camera was just right on center of the field.
Right.
But great win by Hanover Horton.
Some are calling it the Miracle on Moscow.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
That's what our executive producer, Andy Hawley, was calling it, the Miracle on Moscow, or the Hanover Horton Hail Mary.
Oh, that's one way to put it. Austin Hochter scored 2 touchdowns for Hanover Horton, and Colin Griffiths scored a rushing touchdown as well. Lucas Nadell led the Comets defense with 13 tackles, and Adam Lay had 12. Hanover's first ever district championship, and they will be hosting Schoolcraft on Saturday at 1 o'clock for a chance at their first regional title. That is the only game out of our 4 regionals that is on Saturday, so we'll get to those game times in a minute. So this will also be a first time for Hanover to win their first regional title. So anything they do from here on out, first ever for them. So what a game. Congrats to Hanover and Coach David Messer. Photos and highlights from that game too online at jtv.tv. And the game me and you were at, Division 8, Springport 35-13 over New Lothrop after jumping out to a 13-0 lead early. Springport really never looked back, and they won their first ever district championship at home on Friday night. Caden Woyam led the ground game, 146 rushing yards for the Spartans, and quarterback Gibson Overweg with 2 rushing touchdowns. Easton Merrill, Colton Wyoming, and Dallas Higelmeyer also each scored a touchdown, and Gavin Leitner led the Springport defense with 9 tackles and an interception. Springport got out to that lead early, and not much New Lothrop could do after that. Now, New Lothrop really, I feel like, didn't have much of a playbook offensively. Only a handful of plays. You saw a lot of quarterback keepers and a lot of design runs for him. But New Lothrop is a very, very good team. They've always been a solid contender in Division 8. So for Springport to go out there and beat them by 3 scores, I thought was impressive as they could be. So
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and I completely agree with your analysis on the New Lothrop offense too. I mean, kind of a handful of repetitive plays, you know what I mean? And I feel like if you're a defense like Springport, you kind of eat that up and you learn. And Springport's one of those teams where they won't make the same mistake twice a game.
Right. So Springport 11-0, and they are going to be traveling to Thompson Field to take on Hudson, who's also 11-0. on Friday night. I think we're going to be back at Hudson. That should be a great game between those two teams. Hudson, we were talking about it with Coach Pack after the game. We'll get to his interview in a second. But Hudson, in a lot of people's eyes, is the favorite to win the D8 state title. And how they've run their T offense has just been perfect, and Hudson has scored a whole bunch of points like Springport has this year. So I think, if it's Springport has to keep it low scoring. I know that's going to sound crazy to say because both teams have scored a lot of points, but because Hudson has gone out and had leads and dominated so quickly in a lot of their games and scored a lot of points, Springport's going to have to get a stop first and keep it low scoring for them to beat Hudson. We got a chance to talk to the head coach, Ben Pack, and the quarterback, Gibson Overweg, post-game. Let's take a look.
Our kids were very focused the whole week. I mean, from Monday, every day on, we were focused. We were on goal. Practices were fast, and they were very efficient. And because our kids knew. We got here last year and didn't finish it. And this year we got here where they knew they wanted to finish it, and they did. Well, I was always on pins and needles. I mean, New Lothrop is a very, very, very good team. I mean, they spread the field. They play fast and efficient. And, the hardest thing to do is beat a team that never quits. And those kids didn't quit. I mean, they were fighting all the way down to the end. And so, very well coached. And so, we just knew that we had to play a complete game all 4 quarters. Well, obviously, Hudson is a very, very good team. And I have not looked at Hudson. I never plan a week ahead. Focused on the task at hand. And so, I don't know much about them. I hear a lot about them. And so, I'm sure they're a very good football team. And we'll just have to go down and do the best we can. You see our stands; they're filled. The streets are filled with banners and things, and it's just the excitement that comes with a small town country community. Everybody shares in the success, and they're a part of it in some way. From contributions that we had to our program, or just waving the flag and cheering in the stands. I mean, they're all part of it, and so they feel good about it. And we're just thankful that they're here and they can share in the success with us.
David Rice here for JTV Sports. Springport's first ever district championship, 35-13, here at home over New Lothrop. I'm here with the senior quarterback, Gibson Overweg. You guys got to this game last year in the second round, had that heartbreaking loss to Reading by 1. So what did it mean to come out here, have a solid first half, and be able to stick it out and get this first district title?
It felt amazing, dude. Like, I was sitting there at halftime. We were up 21-7. I'm like, oh, we're up, but we can't always, like, they're down. We can just take plays off now. You got to take it to them. We came out and we did. They scored 1, but we came right back and got the ball and scored another on them. And it just everyone was playing together like we've been playing for the last 10 years of my life.
Yeah. Why were you guys able to have that success so early, and what do you guys think you did well to be able to have that success early with the offense?
I think it's our offensive line. They're in the trenches every play. It's muddy out here, like cracking skulls. The guys that are 100 pounds bigger than them, and they're still pushing them off the line. They got through on a couple pass plays, but that's given. Like, no one's going to be perfect. But I think it started with our offensive line, and then our skill positions were able to make their plays from there.
What does it mean for you and the rest of your guys and the rest of your classmates here at Springport compared to the first 2 years of your high school career and now these last 2 years?
I think our first 2 years, we were down on JV, we knew we were going to be good because we were beating teams, but you never know because they pull the guys up to varsity. But then these last 2 years, we are up in the spotlight now, and it's our chance to play the varsity. And last year was kind of like, yeah, we're good, but we lost a couple games. But this year, when we were walking teams, I was like, we might actually be pretty good state contenders.
We saw you got banged up earlier. How's the ankle?
It's all right, just a little stinger. It didn't even hurt that bad. I just kind of didn't want to give up a deep pass just because I couldn't get to a guy, so I let my teammate come in for me.
Well, go celebrate with your guys. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So more photos and video highlights from that game online at jtv.tv. Great environment at Springport. I think the students tried to rush the field before they were allowed to, so they had to get back, but I don't think they got the memo. So, but a great crowd, great support as always for everybody in Springport. So Springport with both of their home playoff games out of the way, and now they are going to have to be road warriors the rest of the way out. So shout out to Coach Ben Pack these last 2 years, really turning the program around. You went to Concord, you played against Springport. Their program 2 years ago and before that, much, much different, to what it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of surprisingly, that a similar foundation from an offensive perspective, right? I mean, I definitely think they run the ball a lot more now than what they did when I was in high school. They aired it out quite a bit, but man, even when I was in high school, especially my early years of high school, still a dangerous team to play.
Absolutely. So congratulations to all 4 of our teams in the Jackson area for winning. So the regional finals, Division 5, Michigan Center at Monroe Jefferson. That is Friday, 7 o'clock. Lumen hosting Ida in Division 6, Friday at 7. Springport going to Hudson in Division 8, 7 on Friday. And at Saturday at 1 p.m., Division 7, Schoolcraft, the Eagles, coming to Moscow Road to play the Hanover Horton Comets. There's been some conflicting posts and from different websites about the games at 7 Friday and the games at Saturday. It is for sure Saturday, 1 o'clock for Hanover Horton against Schoolcraft. So we'll see. I will be out of town Saturday, I will admit, for most of the day Saturday. So I will not be able to make it out to Hanover Horton on Saturday, and I'm a little disappointed by that. But I will be following along. I know we'll get score updates from our guy Sean, who's been following Hanover Horton, and he's been doing a great job too. So shout out to Sean and all of our
Shout out, Sean,
for the work that they've been doing throughout, not just the playoffs the first 2 weeks, but in the regular season as well. So we are going to take a break here on JTV. When we come back, high school volleyball district finals from over the weekend and the Lions dominating Washington on Sunday. So we'll be right back. Welcome back here on JTV, brought to you by the Insurance Circle Agency, myinsuranccircle.com. High school volleyball playoffs also continue for the fall sports. We are down to just 4 volleyball teams and 4 football teams left. Based on the weather outside and all the snow that we got, it wasn't too cold on Friday for football, but then all the snow came Saturday night. So it's going to be like this for most of the week, and then it's going to be back up in the 50s for this weekend, so we're going to have good football weather again on Friday, so we'll take it. High school volleyball district finals in Division 2, Western. The Panthers won a district title on Thursday last week at Eaton Rapids, beating Marshall in straight sets. In Division 3, Hanover Horton played a little earlier on Friday. That way they could all go back to their home field and watch the football game. Hanover Horton cruised to a division district title, on Friday in straight sets. Lumen Christie straight sets over Stockbridge on Thursday. I was at that game. Back-to-back district titles for Lumen volleyball. And on Saturday, Grass Lake in straight sets over Napoleon. So, and then in Division 4, Concord, a close heartbreaker, falling in 4 sets to Hillsdale Academy. So we are down to 4 volleyball teams left. So for regionals, the semifinals for all the teams are on Tuesday, and then the regional finals, if we have anybody, will be on Thursday night. So Division 2 at Charlotte, Western going to be playing Niles. That's the early game on Tuesday at 5:30. And in Division 3 at Clinton on Tuesday, Hanover playing Lumen at 5, and Grass Lake taking on Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central at 7 o'clock. So for all the photos and video highlights, too, and all the volleyball coverage as well, go to jtv.tv. NFL Week 10, we had 7 one-score games on Sunday and throughout the week in the National Football League. Just a couple of them here. Bears came back to beat the Giants 24-20. Jackson Dart came out of the game with a concussion, as if things couldn't get worse for the New York Giants. Brian Daboll likes to run a lot of design plays and a lot of plays made for Jackson Dart. And a few of the plays he really got beat up on, and then the next play that was a design run for him or whatever it was, he paid the price for it. Took a shot going down and lost the ball. Jackson Dart had to come out, so now it's a concussion for him. And Russell Wilson had to take over for the Giants, and that made it even worse for them. Listen, Ice, I think I told Adam last week, I know they want to go back to Russell Wilson because he was the starter to begin with, but, their third string is Jameis Winston. If you can believe Winston's a third-string quarterback.
I did not know that, actually.
For the Giants.
Wow.
So I would have let J-Mo go in there and play. The Giants aren't they're not doing anything.
Right.
So.
What an interesting quarterback room that must be. Russell Wilson and Jameis Williams.
Yeah. With Jackson Dart. So.
Right, yeah.
And so the Giants lost 24-20. Ravens over Minnesota 27-19. Minnesota looked just awful. Terrible clock management at the end of the game. J.J. McCarthy, 248 passing yards. This was a great game. New England 28-23 over Tampa Bay. Two MVP candidates, Drake May and Baker Mayfield, the Patriots surviving. And they're legit. Right now, Kansas City is not in the playoffs right now. So when we're talking Super Bowl contenders at the beginning of the year, you still had to throw Kansas City in there and Philly, of course, the Lions and Buffalo. Now, two of those teams I think are out. Buffalo I don't think is a contender. Kansas City I don't think is a contender, although we've said that before, and look what's happened with Kansas City. But Kansas City's not even in the playoffs right now, so I think them and Buffalo are out. I still think if the Lions play like how they did yesterday, which we'll get to in a second, they're back in it. Don't count out Philly until somebody beats them in the playoffs because they're still the defending champion. But I was watching a Facebook live show that 97 won the ticket. They do every Sunday night with Mike Valeni. And he made a good point. He said, it's going to be one of the others that win the Super Bowl this year. And he said the same thing. You look at Kansas City, Buffalo, Philly. 2 out of the 3 of them, I think, are out. So it's going to be one of the others. Could it be New England out of the AFC? Could it be in the NFC Tampa or the Niners or Seattle? That's my brother's team, as much as I hate saying that. Seattle's been playing really, really good. Or Tampa Bay.
I think you're leaving somebody out.
The Lions.
That would be correct, yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't intentional. Or, listen, if Green Bay beats Philly tonight, I know it's bias, but you start to put them back in because Green Bay still beats really good teams, but then they lose to terrible teams. So if Green Bay goes out and beats Philly, also, that does not help. Now, because the Bears have been playing good, the Bears are at 6 wins. They're 6-3. Everybody, I think, except for Minnesota, is still in contention for the division. So that helps the Bears out if Philly beats Green Bay, and that also helps the Lions out. So Green Bay, and if they also want to prove that they're not going anywhere. Last week was a fluke. Monday night, they have to come out and beat Philly at home. So this is going to be a really good game. So right after we're done here, you can go over and watch Eagles-Packers. Unless if you have YouTube TV, then you can't. But I saw just a brief update on the YouTube TV thing. They are nowhere close to a negotiation, which is frustrating. Because NFL Sunday Ticket is still way too expensive. People aren't going to do a free trial of it just for one game. It's not worth it. And if you're like me, you would forget you have a free trial, and then you get a big bill for it. But YouTube TV is offering their customers a $20 credit each month now that this goes on. Which normally they only offer $5 or $10 credits, but it's 20 because Disney owns so many channels. ABC, ESPN, 1, 2, 3, on and on and on. So it still doesn't make up for the fact that this is not the first time this has happened. It's all about money, unfortunately, as is almost everything now. But it's really more frustrating for college football because the best games of each Saturday are on ABC, SEC. And all 3 games, noon, 3, and 7, are really good. You can't watch them. Now, I have quite a few people I'm friends with on Facebook that have started free trials of Hulu Live TV. And even that's not bad, but they got to figure a way out, eventually. Because on Saturday, I forgot at first, oh, wait, yeah, I don't have ABC or ESPN. So that takes out like 10 games I can watch on Saturday. So now I'm looking at the app with all the scores, and I'm like, okay, what games can I watch? Like 2 unranked teams on Fox, or like Indiana beating up on, you know what I mean? It's frustrating. And people are tired of having to sign up for another streaming service, even if it's temporary, just because they can't get it. And too many people have YouTube TV, and too many people pay too much money at $90 a month to not get the best games. So that's just my quick thought on it. Now, real quick, back to NFL Week 10. Jacksonville, these are 2 bad teams, but Jacksonville was up by 19 in the fourth quarter. And Davis Mills back up for Houston because C.J. Stroud is hurt. They came back down by 19 and beat Jacksonville. I think it's time for Jacksonville to blow things up. That's what a lot of other shows have been saying, not just me. Trevor Lawrence, I think it's safe to say he is a bust. He's been in the league now for, I think, 5 or 6 years and has done nothing. Made the playoffs one year, got blown out, or maybe even made the playoffs twice, especially the one playoff game. They were up 28-0 in the second quarter, lost that game. So I think it's safe to say Jacksonville is in that very low tier now. I would put them there with like the Saints and the Browns and the Jets, which the Browns and Jets played each other yesterday. It was a close game, but that was still unwatchable. And the Saints and Panthers also played each other yesterday, and that game was 17-7. And the Panthers lost that game, by the way. And Carolina is over 500 and lost to a 2-7 Saints team. But throw the records out the window because it's a divisional game, divisional rivalry. The worst Sunday night football game also happened last night. I will say I was not feeling well yesterday, so I went to bed early. I did not watch most of the Sunday night. Obviously, I didn't miss much. But when I went to bed, it was 5-2. And that was it. And then I don't know what happened after that. And it was 25-10 Chargers over Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers looked just terrible. There's more I want to say. Some of it I'm probably not allowed to say. But it was bad. And it was 2-0 or 3-2 after the first quarter. And then it was 5-3. And then I decided I can't watch this anymore. It's early bedtime for me. So, and then the Lions dominated Washington 44-22, 546 total yards for the Lions and 30 first downs in that game. And Jared Goff, 320 passing yards. Dan Campbell took over the offensive play calling yesterday. He got out his reading glasses, grabbed the play sheet from the offensive coordinator, John Morton, and he said, screw it, I'll do it myself. And clearly, they didn't have any problems with that 44-22. Usually when a head coach takes over play calling from a coordinator, that basically means he doesn't trust his coordinator and he's getting fired. is what's happening. So he was asked about that after the game because they didn't put out any reports early before the game that this was going to happen, and it just happened. And Dan Campbell said, look, we just wanted to just switch things up. It really just means a coordinator got fired. Nothing else to it. So, also, President Trump was at the game between Lions and Commanders in D.C. He was mostly there because it's Veterans Day coming up this week, and he was there for a Veterans Day ceremony that they had at halftime, and they inducted a lot of new members to the United States Armed Forces on the field. That was cool that they did that at halftime. And then he joined the broadcast booth on Fox for about 10 minutes. It was for a majority of after halftime in the third quarter, and they even let Trump call a play. I would go and look that clip up. That was B- commentary, we'll put it that way, or C-.
I'll have to go find and take a look at it. I have not seen that yet.
But they covered a lot. They talked about Trump when he played football back in the 50s. Yeah, that's how old he is. For the New York Military Academy, they pulled up a picture of him playing in 1954 for New York Military Academy.
This was high school ball, I take it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then they also talked about the NFL and him being there for Veterans Day ceremony, and he even gave some of his own NFL analysis. He said the Lions have been they've been a really good team the last couple of years. That was a great trade for Detroit and LA both. It really didn't hurt both because Stafford is still playing unbelievable. He's an MVP candidate at 37 years old. And he's had 4 straight games now with 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions for Matthew Stafford. And then the color commentator for Fox, Jonathan Vilma, it was really funny. But I'm going to just 2 things on him. One, he tried to pull a 6'7" joke with the president in the broadcast booth. And Trump did not understand it all. So that was kind of an awkward thing.
6'7".
Only Matt Kibbe can pull it off. And then, I know it's the president, but Jonathan Vilma made it a political discussion after that. He said, what's your thoughts right now on the shutdown and how you think the country is doing and where you think we're at as far as they were still talking about Veterans Day too with veteran numbers. And of course, he went on to say everything's going great. Blah, 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 prices are going down, the typical what you would hear from him. And it's funny seeing all these people, especially on Twitter, X, that the people that usually say, keep politics out of sports are the same people that voted for Trump. Now, I'm not going to make this any more political. It's just a fact, though, that the people that say keep politics out of sports are the same people that enjoyed having Trump in the broadcast booth that voted for him. So the other side response is, well, I thought we were keeping politics out of sports. And it was just really funny seeing some of these comment sections on Twitter after that. So, but it was still cool. It was the first president to attend a regular season NFL game since Jimmy Carter in 1978, the peanut farmer, Jimmy Carter. So great win for the Lions, 44-22. All right, when we come back to wrap things up, Cleveland Guardians, another betting scandal in sports. I will fill you in on the details when we come back on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, myinsuranccircle.com. Almost forgot the website. It's totally like we don't do this twice a week. All right, before we go, we have another betting scandal in professional sports. If you thought Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier was going to bring the betting down, you were wrong. This time, it is with the Cleveland Guardians baseball team. Cleveland Guardian pitchers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were charged with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery stemming from an alleged scheme to rig individual pitches that led to gamblers winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to an indictment unsealed by the FBI on Sunday. Luis Ortiz was arrested Sunday morning in Boston and is appearing in court today, Monday, according to prosecutors. And Emmanuel Clase has not been found and arrested yet. He is not in custody, but they found Ortiz. Prosecutors at the Eastern District of New York, the Brooklyn-based United States Attorney's Office, the same office that charged Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, said that in the indictment that Emmanuel Clase arranged with a bettor in May of 2023 to throw specific pitches for balls or strikes so that the gambler could place prop bets and profit. So they were betting on individual pitches, and Clase would obviously intentionally throw the pitches off. Now, what's interesting is Clase and Ortiz, both in 2024 and 25 playoffs, both threw against the Tigers. And they beat the Tigers in 2024, but then the Tigers beat Cleveland in the wild card. They both threw against the Tigers. Now, I don't know if some of those pitches in the scandal were against them. I don't know. But prosecutors also said for Ortiz, joined the scheme this year during this year's baseball season. And between the two pitchers, gamblers won at least $450,000 wagering on their pitches, and both pitchers were given kickbacks for their participation. Both Clase and Ortiz each could face up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud conspiracy, another 20 years for honest services wire fraud conspiracy, 20 years for money laundering conspiracy, and 5 years for conspiracy to influence sporting events by bribery. That's up to 65 years in prison for both of them. I mean, I don't know. I don't have much else to add to it. I mean, just you're an idiot, number one.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say either. I mean, it's baffling, right? I mean, even like the Chauncey Billups situation, Terry Rozier.
Not our man Chauncey.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Man. So if you thought Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups were going to be the end of this betting issue, well, you were wrong. Excuse me. What was funny was when the news first broke out about Rozier and Billups and that whole thing, when they were breaking the news on ESPN in their ticker at the bottom still had an ad for ESPN Bet. Use our new promo code, whatever, and get 50% off your first bet.
What an interesting world we live in, you know? I mean, it's crazy.
Also, obviously, you can't defend them, these players, in any way. So when I say this, I'm not defending them. But it's hard not to, though, because betting is so in your face now. I mean, we have FanDuel Sports Network.
Yes, we have an existing RSN that is named after a betting company, a sports betting company.
Like, they took over Bally, which took over Fox Sports Detroit.
Right.
But Bally, and then FanDuel Sports Network. Even the high school football state championships were on a betting network.
Yep.
Say whatever you want about FanDuel, it's a betting network. Even during Pistons games and Red Wings games, during timeouts or something. You know, let's look at our live odds, subject to change, stuff like that. And it's so even on ESPN Bet. DraftKings, I mean, they all sponsor all networks. So even on NFL Red Zone, where there's supposed to be no commercials, players to watch for today. Brought to you by Draft. Anyways, my point is that it's so in your face now. Everywhere you go, bet on this, and bet on this. It's hard not to bet on anything. So I've never placed a bet on anything, not because I'm cheap. I mean, sometimes I do like to be cheap, but it's just because I don't want to get caught in that trap. Like, I know a lot of people who do. 9-leg parlays, over-unders on, women's MAC college basketball. You know what I mean?
No, I do. And I have an addictive personality myself. So that's like the last thing I want to do is just spark another thing for me. You know what I mean?
Now, I don't have anything against people who bet. On occasion you want to throw $20 down on the Lions to take the over and beat Washington.
I'm right there with you.
I don't care. If I go to Soaring Eagle with people, which I just give away my Saturday plans. But now if I do that, and let's say Michigan's playing Saturday against Northwestern, let's say I throw $10 down on Michigan. Well, I wouldn't win anything back because they should beat Northwestern, so I wouldn't win much there. But my point is that nothing wrong with throwing a few bucks down here and there. But now then you get to some degenerates, U13 Japanese soccer, women's MAC college basketball, 1 a.m. Korean baseball on the Ocho, dodgeball. My point is just that it's in your face. So players, fans, anybody, it's hard not to bet on something. But it's become a problem. I mean, there's a bet on everything now. And now, thankfully, the product that's replacing it is even worse. But I'm thankful that the high school football state championships are not on FanDuel in a few weeks. So it will be on NFHS Network. Still a full production like it was on FanDuel, but just on NFHS Network. Now, I don't know if you'll have to pay for it or if it's going to be a free broadcast. That I don't know. The selection show where they revealed the matchups were free. But we'll get to that as we get closer to the state championships. But 65 years up to potentially for both of these guys. And same thing with Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups. They're both going to be locked up for a long time. Should be. And what's crazy, by the way, with Class A is that he's first started doing this in May of 2023. Like, he went 3 whole baseball seasons where he pitched and played and knew, and nobody knew he was doing this.
That's why I was going to add, this has been going on for a while. I mean,
right.
And boy, would I love to be a fly on the wall for like one of these investigations? Like, can you imagine like putting all the pieces together and being like, oh my gosh, like it's him, like it's just so crazy.
And even like because Rozier and Chauncey Billups did what they did a long time ago, and even they had some sort of like legal person on ESPN when the news first broke out about them. Like, some of these cases have been investigated and looked at for years and years and years, but they don't put it out there for obvious reasons. So like they said about this Terry Rozier thing, they've been working on this for a long time. And then randomly one day, the FBI showed up at his door and got him.
Right, and that would be kind of a wild accusation. I feel like you need to have cement proof that this is happening.
And that's what they did, and that's why they keep some of these cases that we work on for a long time.
Right.
So, real quick here before we go, the new AP poll for the college football rankings came out on Sunday. The top 5 are all the same. BYU dropped down to number 12 after they just did awful against Texas Tech. And Michigan didn't even play, and they went up 3 spots to number 18. But I think that helped because some other teams lost. But Michigan, they're at number 18. Now the official playoff rankings from the committee come on again tomorrow, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on ESPN. But, they'll probably be right around the same, though, 18, 17, 19, whatever. Now, Michigan doesn't really play anybody spectacular until they get to Ohio State. So Michigan can still make a college football playoff. I know they have 2 losses, and I know that sounds crazy. The only way they can do it, though, is if they beat Ohio State. That's it. Obviously, they're not going to be in with 3 losses, lose to Ohio State.
Right.
But.
And then I guess a question mark for me is like if, say hypothetically Michigan does beat Ohio State, who makes it in the conference championship on their side of the bracket?
Well, they don't do East and West anymore as of last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because of when UCLA and USC joined, they have 18 teams. So
I was unaware of that. That makes sense, though.
Big Ten standings. Big Ten. Right now, Indiana, Ohio State.
And that would make sense. I don't think it'd be in a position to argue that.
Indiana 7-0 in Big Ten, Ohio State 6-0. But then it's a 3-way tie for third, USC, Oregon, and Michigan, 5-1. But Ohio State doesn't play anybody either until they get to Michigan. UCLA, terrible. Rutgers, terrible. And then Indiana, they play Wisconsin and Purdue. So it's going to be, if you're Michigan, even if they beat Ohio State, they probably won't make it in the Big Ten championship because they would also need Oregon and they would need other teams to lose. So Michigan can still make it in the college football playoff, but not even make it in the Big Ten championship.
It's crazy.
If they beat Ohio State.
Never used to be like that. It's a whole different brand of college football, man.
Yep. And even if Ohio State loses to Michigan, that game, obviously, it still matters because they want to beat them because the last 4 years. But at the end of the day, though, when it comes to making the playoffs and the standings, that game against Michigan doesn't matter for them.
Meaningless.
Because even if they lose, they're still going to be in the college football playoff. They're still going to have a home game or two, or first-round home game, whatever, and they're still going to be in the Big Ten championship. So the game against Michigan, from that perspective, does not matter one bit.
Who have they beat this year? Have they done anything?
Nobody. And same thing with Indiana. Although their game against Penn State was crazy.
Yes.
On Saturday.
I agree. I did tune into that.
You saw the catch?
Yes.
At the end?
Yeah, and I love...
Oh, man, that's good on Sunday, too.
Oh, yeah. It is, yes. And one of my favorite things is when someone makes a play so spectacular, it literally breaks Gus Johnson. It's so funny to hear.
So Ohio State has played only one... Well, they've beat 2 ranked teams. Week 1, they beat Texas.
Okay.
But that's different Texas team than what they were now. But
Sure.
still,
Yep.
They beat Texas, who's in the top 10. That's a playoff team. And then they beat Illinois. At the time, Illinois was 17. Illinois is not worth anything now. So really, they've only beat 1 team that's ranked.
Yeah. Well, as Pat McAfee said, congratulations to the number 1 ranked team in the nation for doing absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. All right, and before we go, subscribe to JTV Sports for free. Adam always says free 99. Costs nothing. We have 4 volleyball teams and 4 football teams still left. So subscribe to JTV Sports. Each week you'll get a newsletter sent to your inbox and your email address. Everything that we've covered with your school. And between the last couple of weeks, we've covered literally every single school. JC, Spring Arbor, all of the high school teams, because they've all been in districts or regionals for all these sports and state finals like for cross country. So subscribe to JTV Sports and stay up to date with what's happening. And you can still subscribe to more than one school too. So I told Adam he needs to subscribe to all 22 teams that we have on there. So not that he wants to get more emails than he already does,
Right.
but still good for him. So JTV.tv, click the subscribe button in the drop-down menu. So we'll be back at Hudson Friday for Springport. Should be a good game. I think if it's the end of the road for Springport, this would be the game. No discredit to what they've done already. This is the best season they've had in school history. But shout out to Springport and shout out to Hanover, both winning their first district titles. So, and Austin Hochter, throw that man in any position on the field, and he'll play.
He's going to be a problem. He
Already
really
is.
Oh, yeah, already is.
As a sophomore.
Yeah, can you imagine what he's going to be like when he's a senior?
I mean, I think right now he's probably the best running back in the area already as a sophomore. I think that's fair to say. So for sure, these next 2 years to come, he'll be the player to watch in the area. And if Hanover and Leslie play next year, which I don't know if they do, but if they do, that's going to be a great matchup. Senior Joel Cranmore, junior Austin Hochter, and the other guys for both teams as well. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, and thank you to Prate's Place for their support of the show all season long. Shout out to you, Austin, for filling in for Adam. And we will see you back here on Wednesday. Thanks for watching on JTV.